All right. Bear with me just a moment here. I just want I just wanted to get everything set up here. So just give me a moment or two, just to drop a fresh link in the chat down below as um and excuse the background noise. Um, Spare with me a moment. Okay, I think everything is up and running all right here. Let me just check the volume, and then we'll jump right into the show. All right. So anyway, I just got done doing a show with what's the brother? Brother Desan, right? Brother Desan. Me and him we did a little lesson together. I'll probably upload that tomorrow. It was a very good lesson. We touched on, the whole thing about you know, that we're gonna be, on the earth, during these, trying times to come, compared to, what these other guys are on here teaching, and that's a whole nother thing because and this is a little sneak peek real quick. I'm doing a lesson soon. There's a brother who came on and challenged me on something. The brother's name is LOP. You know who you are. But your brother's very sincere, so I'm not trying to, you know, put a bad manner on him or something like that. Not at all. But he was asking me something along the lines of, how could the elect be on the earth if it says in what is that, First Thessalonians, the fourth chapter, that the ones who are alive shall be called up into heaven when the rapture takes place. So he used that as if that's proof that the elect are going to be saved and none of them are going to die. But here's the ironic part, and this is why you have to know what you're talking about. Which again, the brother was very sincere with his reasoning, but sadly he was just going off because here's the thing. If you read the verse above it, it said what? That the dead in Christ will rise first. Wait a second. Who are the dead in Christ then? So he, of course, deliberately, you know, didn't bring that part up because then that would have, disproven his whole, argument to begin with. Okay. So, pretty much, hey, look, man, at this point, it's case closed on this, on that, the guys call it pre-tribulation rapture, mine and God calls it pre-plague rapture. Whatever one you call it, it's pretty much the same thing that they're basically saying that, even though they call it different names, that's true, but it's essentially the same thing. They're basically saying that before, God's wrath comes upon the earth, they're gonna the elect are gonna be, taken away. Okay, they're gonna be they call it raptured, from the earth. That's not true. Okay, according to the scriptures, which I'll do a whole breakdown on it in the near future. We'll do a whole video on it. Done it in the past, but it got to be done again. Um, that Christ is going to return after the times of the Great Tribulation, and that's when the rapture will take place. Which, by the way, the word rapture isn't in the Bible, but we can use the word though because the word just means to take away. Okay, so we can use the word. That's fine. But for the record, that word's not mentioned in the scriptures inside Job. It's not mentioned in the scriptures. Okay. The other thing as well, I was reading today. I was reading the book of Acts, right? And as far as Mine of God always quotes Acts, the first chapter. It talks about the what was it? Right, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye here, gazing upon Christ? The way that he was taken up from you is the same way he will return. Nearly paraphrasing the text. Um, but he uses that to say those are the two witnesses. Now, I mean, to be honest, I mean, if he wants to say that, that's fine. I mean, I don't see it. I don't see that when I read it, right, as I did today. It just said two men in white. If you want to say it's a two witnesses, go ahead. But I myself wouldn't say that. I would just say those are the angels, right? Those are the angels who who told the apostles that, okay, and the men who were standing there. Okay, there was two men, right, in white apparel, excuse me, Stiller, which were angels. Okay. Um, Another thing, or deal with I believe it was. Let me see real quick. I believe it's Acts the what is it, the seventh chapter, the eighth chapter, dealing with what was it, Simon, right? He came to the apostles, when he saw them giving out the Holy Spirit to the people, and he was like, well, how about I give you money so that I can, also, lay upon people, this thing called the Holy Spirit, right? So I'll offer you, this amount of money if you can give this to me, that by, touching people, with my hand, I can give them the Holy Spirit, right? So he offered the apostles, a sum of money for it, but they told him, hey, look, you can't buy, you can't buy the knowledge of the Most High by money, and you can't, buy the power of the Most High. What is the power? In that context, was talking about doing miracles, right? So you can't, um, receive that, by buying it. It's not something that you can purchase. Just like I'll give an example. You can't, you can't make yourself saved, right? You can't save yourself because there was a brother who came on the show. I want to say last week he came on in the comment board, get the brother's name, but he was basically asking about, how can I save myself, is what he was saying. So I responded and said, well, you can't save yourself. You cannot save yourself. Okay. Now the brother was very sincere of his reasoning, so I'm not at all trying to, throw him under the bus or anything. But to answer that question, you can't save yourself. Okay. You cannot save yourself from the judgment to come. Okay, you just have to be right with, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. You have to be right with the Lord. All right. You have to, as the Christians would say, you have to be in a personal relationship with Christ, which that's actually true. Okay, that's true. Now it doesn't mean that you're actually able to, talk to the Most High and hear a voice back. It doesn't mean that, but basically means what? How can you be a friend of Christ? And this is in what is that? That's in I want to say, damn, what is that? Bear for me a moment. I believe it's John the 15th chapter. John 15:13 on down. It says what? That you know, yeah, no man has greater love than this, that if a man was to lay down his own life for his friends. But then it says that Christ said, hey, look, you are my friends as long as you follow the commandments. Right. So that's how you are a friend of God. So the Christian's statement is actually true, that you can be a friend of God. However, how do you do that? And the answer is by following the commandments. Okay. And if you do not do that, well, then the Lord ain't dealing with you. Okay. You can't be a friend of the Lord and go around eating, as what's that coon? Just like a G man would say, right? Eating a mouse sandwich, right? G man's on there saying that, oh, it's okay to eat, a mouse sandwich. And then what they do is they go to, what is that? Acts the 10th chapter, and they say, who was that? It was Peter, right? Who had the vision of the unclean foods coming down from heaven, right? On a like a picnic uh, platter. And they'll use that to say, well, see, well, Peter was offered, these unclean foods, right? He didn't eat them, but he was offered it, right? And then the Lord said that these things were made clean. Now they'll use that to say, well, see, that proves that the unclean foods are made clean. But here's the kicker, though. If you read the whole chapter, you will see later on in the discussion when Cornelius came to, I believe it was Peter, or it could have been Paul, right? It could have been. Might have to look back at the chapter, but for lack of better words, when Cornelius came over, then the man said, that the Lord did not make any man common or unclean, nearly paraphrasing the text. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because it proves that the vision that he had, which again, I believe it was Peter, okay, it proves that it was not actually talking about food. It was talking about men, right? Man, okay, that's what it was talking about. It wasn't talking about actual food, okay? It was talking about men. If you read the whole chapter, you will see that. So that's the problem with these Christians. Oh, I see we got a mind of God in the chat. He said driving. We'll join in 30 minutes if it's open. Yeah, that's cool, man. We should still be on then. Um, but going back to what I was saying about LOP, he was coming on there, acting like he knew a whole lot. But then I hit him up with a couple challenges, and that brother says that he is immortal. And I wanted to touch on that. The brother's on there teaching that he is immortal. Let me say that again. The brother LOP teaches that he is immortal. Now, of course, I'm not trying to, bash your brother, right? Or put a negative light on the brother. Not at all, right? Not at all. I'm not trying to do that. But I just wanted to bring that up because it's like, okay, well, now I'm not doubting that you had a spiritual experience, right? Because he was basically saying that basically, he experienced heaven on earth. Now, if he did experience a type of heaven on earth, that's possible, right? But maybe, right? Maybe he did have a spiritual experience. I'm not denying that. That's certainly possible. And if he did, then that's great. That's good. So I'm not trying to doubt that. But what I am going to do is I would certainly have to disagree with the brother if he's on there saying that he is immortal. I find that to be ridiculous. And then what he said was, well, the proof that I am immortal is basically I got into some accidents and some situations where statistically I should have passed away, but the fact that I didn't proves that I am immortal. Which again, I find that to be ridiculous. But hey, hey, look, if you believe that, that's cool. That's fine. But according to the scriptures, no man is immortal. Okay, you're not immortal until you get those new bodies, which is happens what when Christ returns. You get those new bodies, right? Those heavenly bodies. Okay, but while you're in, you know, the earthly flesh, you're not immortal, and I'm not either. So I'm not at all, making it look like you're not and I am not at all. That goes for us all. Okay, that no man is immortal. Okay, I mean, Christ himself said, hey, look, I lay down my life, right? No man takes my life from me, but it is I who lay down my life willingly, right? So, even Christ, laid down his own life. Okay, so, as far as that, man, I mean, it's just laughable to say that you're immortal. I mean, oh, it's like, okay, have you ever heard the story of, what's that guy? They call him the luckiest slash unluckiest man ever. Look that up on YouTube. You can watch who I'm talking about, right? The luckiest slash unluckiest man alive. And basically just a little may I say damn, what could be the word I could use? Um we'll just say this. Okay, some of the things that happened to that man, I'll give a couple examples, right? He fell out of a plane without a parachute and landed in a damn haystack, right? The man, a few times, he got into a train wreck and survived. The bus, I believe the bus fell off a couple cliffs, few times, and he survived all of them. And that's just a handful. That's a handful. Oh, and then the way he was the luckiest man, right? Because the pun was what? He was the luckiest slash unluckiest man, the way that he was the luckiest man. Because later on in life, he won, I believe it was like 1 or 2 million. He won on a scratch off ticket. But he had, all of those misfortunes. Okay, so hey, look that up. Look up the story of the luckiest slash unluckiest man alive. But he wasn't immortal though. Okay. Let's see, fresh and new, Shalom, fresh and new. He said, I don't think luck is real. Okay, now I'll handle that. Um, as far as the scriptures go, I'll say this, it is true that everything is ordained by the Most High. Okay, so as far as so-called luck goes, you're right. There isn't really such a thing as luck because it all goes by the way the Most High, you know, um, operates. Okay, the Most High is the one who sets it up if something, positive is going to happen to you or something negative. I'll give an example. I will give an example. Um, let's see, what could I use? Oh, I know. One time I got ripped off in a trade of about $1,500. There was a terrible misfortune that happened to me. But then guess what? A few months later, I won $500 on a $3 lottery ticket. All right, I won 500 bucks on the $3 lottery ticket. So that's luck right there. But hey, the Lord had ordained that. But the Lord also ordained the hardship to happen to me, right? Where I, got, ripped off of a certain percentage of money. Okay, so that's why, hey, look, the good and the evil are of the Lord, right? So luck, so-called luck, and so-called bad luck, they all come from the Lord. Hey, the scriptures say the Lord makes poor, but he also makes rich. Okay, so that answers that. Okay, the Lord is behind the good and the wicked in the world, right? Both good luck and bad luck. It all comes from the Lord. And that's just how it is. Just like I'll give an example, right? Every man is destined, to his own destiny. At the end of the day, it's already sealed who the elect are, right? The elect are already sealed. Okay, well, from the foundation of the world, we don't know who those people are. Got mine a guy going around saying that he was sealed on, January 1st, 2020. I mean, hell, maybe he was. That could be true. I'm not denying that. I'm not saying it isn't true, not saying it is true. But as far as one being sealed, you can't know that. I don't know if I'm of the elect. You can't know if you're of the elect. That's something you got to take upon faith. That's not something that you can know. Got these Christians going around saying that they're saved. You ask them, okay, well, what are you saved from? And nobody knows. It's like, well, I'm saved. Okay, how are you saved? And they don't know how. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Let me see. LOP said, well, I fell immortal at that time, not right now. And I told you that I was literally feeling power of God. Which, as I said, LOP, I'm not denying you've had a spiritual experience, just to put that out there. I'm not denying it that happened to you, right? In fact, I hope it did, right? That's a great thing if that did happen, right? So I'm not at all, denying it that did happen. And I don't want to, I don't want to put that out there because that's not at all what I'm saying, right? Maybe you did have a very spiritual experience. That's certainly a possibility. Um, but with that being said, if you're going to sit on there and say that you're immortal, I'm going to have to, challenge that, because I don't see that in the scriptures. Okay, so that's fine. We can disagree, and keep it peaceful. That's totally fine. Let me just hit these comments real quick. LOP said, but right now I am weak. Wait a second. Hold on. I got a question. So LOP, so you were immortal at one time, and I'm just asking this to know, right? I'm not at all trying to make fun or, try to be mean. I'm not at all saying that. I'm just asking so I know for my education. If you were immortal at one time, you're saying you're now not immortal? Just so I can know. Let's see. Bear with me just a moment. Said, so I am not saying I am immortal now because I am suffering a lot. It's like, okay, but didn't you say you were immortal at one time or another? So the question is, how were you at one time immortal, but today you're not immortal? You know what I'm saying? It's just, as I said, brother, I'm not denying that you had a true spiritual experience. I'm not at all saying that that's not true. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that I would definitely disagree with you saying that you're immortal. I mean, hell, our friend, Samuel Owen, right, aka Christ in the flesh, I mean, hell, he's not immortal. I mean, hell, the guy's sitting there in a damn, motel, you know, collecting, government checks, but he's sitting on there saying that he's the son of man, right? That he is ruling over the world with a damn, long sword and a damn, broomstick. Go ask him yourself. But he's not immortal though. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let me just see real quick. Oh, LOP said, I feel like God is punishing me and that I am in hell. And let me say this, man. You are in hell. Hell, I'm in hell. Okay, because when you read, the scriptures, hell is a condition that's played out on the earth. Okay, let me just clarify this real quick. When you read the Bible, hell can mean one of three things. It just depends on the context which the word is used in. Okay, one context means the physical earth that we stand on, right, is hell. But in another context, a hell can be a condition of suffering. Okay, and then another context is the grave when you die. Okay, and I'll give an example for how hell can be a condition. Because if you read what is that, Jonah chapter 2 and verse 2, it said that Jonah cried out of the belly of hell and the Lord heard his voice. But wait a second. If you read the story, Jonah was in the belly of fish, but he called it hell. Right, so we can see that hell is a condition. Or another good example, if you go to what is that? Psalms 9 and 17, it says the nations that forget you, they shall be turned into hell. Okay? All the nations that forget God shall be turned into hell. You can read the verse yourself. Now, what does that mean is the question. And the answer is they're going to be brought into a low estate. Okay, that's what it means. Bear with me a moment. Let me just get a drink. All right. Um, bear with me just a moment. Just gonna hit some of these comments. The person news said, LOP, have you ever tried to open your third eye? Right, what is that? The pineal gland, right? They call it the third eye. What's that guy? Eric Dubay, I believe his name. Oh, yeah, Eric Dubay. Right, the author of what is it? The Flat Earth Conspiracy. I believe he has a couple other books as well. You can look him up on YouTube, but yeah, he's into that like new age, stuff, saying that he is God, that every man is God, which a whole bunch of nonsense, man. I mean, it's just, I'll give him credit where it's due. I'll absolutely give him credit on certain things. He's absolutely right. But then he clearly goes off on other things. So, that's why you have to take the meat and you got to leave the bones, which basically symbolizes what you have to take the true information and then you got to leave the bad information. That's just what you have to do. Okay. If you have somebody that says something which is right, then go with it. But if somebody says something which is wrong, well, then, A, I'll take the good information from them and I'll leave the bad information. And that's just how it is. Scriptures speak about, every man has to work out his own salvation. Okay. And look, I said this before and it has to be said again. Hey, look, ETT can't save anyone, right? Fresh and New can't save anyone. LOP can't save anyone. Mind of God can't save anyone. It just goes down to your own, as Christians would call it, right? Your own personal relationship with Christ, as they call it, which they're right on that. A man has to have a personal relationship with Christ. And what does that mean? That means that you have to follow the commandments of Christ. Because I quoted earlier, if you go to John the 15th chapter, start at verse 13 and read down, it says what? That you are my friends. And this is Christ speaking. You are my friends as long as you obey the commandments. And you can read it yourself. Right. So you got to be a friend of Christ because Christ said what? That, in order to come to the Father, you have to go through him. Right. Which somebody brought that up when we had that Trinity debate, I want to say a few days ago. They brought that up and said, well, see, well, that proves that Christ is God, which I'm not at all bashing the brother who said that. That brother is very likable. I really like that guy. He's very intelligent. So hey, I'll disagree with the brother and we'll keep it moving, right? Hey, brother could be right, I could be wrong. No, very simple. But when Christ said that, he was basically saying that him and the Father have the same teachings, right? That they all had come in the same, you know, message. They all come with the same message. I'll give an example. One Body in Yahweh Shai is a group out there. there's like, there's multiple different members of the group, but they call themselves one body in Yahweh Shai. Now, does that actually mean that they are actually all one person, right? With, damn 10 heads, 25 arms, 50 legs. Does that mean that? No, they're not one person, right? But they're one mind, right? They're one mind with one another. Okay. It's very simple to understand. Is it's not literal when it says that. Okay, it's not literal when the scriptures say that I and my Father are one. That's not what it's actually saying. It's saying that they are in likeness with their teaching. Okay, that's what it means. Let me just hit the comments real quick. LOP, I might bring you on the show. Um, but what I did want to address, which I'm actually, let me say this, I'm not prepared to speak about this right now because I wanted to do a video on it. Um, but I wanted to touch the comment you put up the other day when you brought up, I believe it was, what was it, First Thessalonians, the fourth chapter, I believe, and you brought up the verse and said, "Well, we'll see. Well, the elect are gonna all be alive because it says those of us who remain will be called up with the Lord." Well, wait a second. LOP, did you know that the verse above it says what? That the dead in the Lord shall rise first? So my question to you, brother, is what about that verse? Who are the dead in the Lord and how are they going to rise first? Because you used the verse underneath it, say that all of us will be alive when the Lord returns. So who are the dead in Christ that will rise first? Right? So, and I'm not, let me say this. Maybe the brother didn't know and that verse was right above it. Maybe that's true. Okay. So I'm just putting it out there. And this is why you have to, research what you talk about before you, come on and make all types of, statements. Okay, so not at all trying to bash your brother, not at all. Maybe he was just unaware. That's certainly, a possibility. Bear with me just 1 second. Let me see. Um, LP said, "How can I know why God took away my immortality and having feeling? I don't know, man." Well, as I said, I'm not. As I said, brother, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna answer that because I don't know. Okay, as I said, you know, I do believe you that the Lord gave you a spiritual experience, right? I'm not at all doubting that, not at all. Um, but hey, that's up for you. Okay, hey, if you had that experience, then good. I'm happy for you. Okay, but as far as being immortal, I'm gonna have to decline that. I'm gonna have to, tell you that you're off on that. Maybe you just felt a way that you didn't know how to describe. That could be true. But to use the word immortal, I wouldn't, say that. Okay, but hey, look, brother, as I said, I'm not going to argue about it. There's nothing to argue about. I believe you that you did have a very spiritual experience, and I'm happy for you, right? That's great. That's good. Okay, but hey, look, that's a special thing for you. Okay. Let me just hit the comments. Fresh and New said, LOP, it's the pineal gland. When you focus on it, it vibrates. I don't know if it's evil or not, but I've experienced it. Yeah, yeah, I haven't looked much into that stuff. But yeah, there's very some very interesting, stuff, man. Dealing with say for an example, scientists will tell you and they don't know why, you have dreams, right? They don't know what part of the brain is responsible for it, neither do they know why it happens, right? It's just something that happens, but nobody really knows why or how, it happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of those things, and that's just the way I'll put it. Okay. LP said, "Yeah, the dead in Christ will rise first. I know that verse. I was just saying that after that, he said that some will be alive and taken up. But yeah, this is a hard topic. Well, it's not a hard topic. Um, Now to answer that, I already answered this a few weeks ago because I said that some of the elect are going to be alive. Okay, some of the elect are going to be alive when Christ returns. I never said that they weren't going to be. Some of the elect are going to be alive on the earth, but some of the elect are also going to be dead, according to the scriptures. Okay, so that's why the text says that the dead in the Lord, they will rise first. Okay, because you're going to have some who were dead, some who passed away, okay, who are going to be redeemed just before the elect. Now, it really happens at like the same time. Okay, it's like, but they're going to rise up first, then after they're collected, the elect will go up after them. Okay, and whoever else is receiving salvation. Okay, because I remember, man, these Christians, right, regarding the whole rapture event, what they'll talk about is, and I remember, you watch some of these movies, like I believe one out there is called, let's see, what is it called? I believe it's Left Behind, right? Left Behind. Which I haven't watched the movie yet. I bought it like 9 months ago. It's just been sitting there on the shelf. I haven't even watched it. Um, well, I got it from my own personal adult playground Dollar Tree. Inside joke. Shout out to the Wolf Pit. But anyway, you know, I remember watching the commercial for the movie, right? The trailer, and they show you that basically what they think about the rapture, right? That people are going to be on on the airplanes, driving vehicles, out surfing, or um, partying, and then people are just going to disappear just like that. Like there 1 second, you blink your eyes, all that's left there is, their shirt, pants, glasses, just sitting there on the floor because the person disappeared. That's not true. Okay, they teach it basically it's just going to happen. Christ is going to return, everyone's going to vanish, and then Christ is going to go away, and then tribulation starts. That's a bunch of bull, man. That ain't true. According to the scriptures, when Christ returns, every eye will see the Lord. We go to what is that? Revelation 6 chapter, right? Everybody's going to be fleeing into these underground bunkers to hide from the face of the Lord. And that's why if you go to what is that? Jeremiah the 16th chapter, verse 16, it says that the elect are going to fish these people out of these caverns of the rocks. So what are caverns of the rocks? That's talking about these bunkers that they have put into these mountains and put into these underground, facilities. That's what it's talking about. Okay, so when it says that, say for an example, let me see. I believe there's a verse in I believe what is that? Amos, I don't believe there's 9 chapters in Amos, so I'm not sure of the verse where this is, but it's in Amos. It speaks about them hiding, at the top of a mountain, but then also at the bottom of the sea. But the Lord's gonna hunt them out, right? So wait a second, how are people gonna hide at the bottom of the sea? And the answer to that is because now they have technology where they can go down there. They have something called, a submarine. They got bases down there, and they're in these hideouts where it's, under the water, and on top of these mountains. Okay, where they can hide in there. Okay, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So when Christ returns, they're going to fish these people out of there, and this cuts mine of God. Now dealing with servitude in Christ's kingdom, because those people are going to be captured. They're going to escape the destruction, and when Christ returns, they're going to fish those people out from where they're hiding, and they're going to be the first laborers to build up Christ's kingdom. Okay? So that's why I said, man, a lot of these guys who deal with the scriptures, they don't know what they're talking about, man. All right, and a lot of these guys in the truth, there's certain, topics they just don't want to talk about because either, they got their feelings hurt or just because they don't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Just like with our beloved brother, Ridge Napper, right? Rich Speaks. You bring up a topic such as the, can you eat what you want? No, he'll be on there and be like, well, I don't want to talk about it. It's like, well, wait a second. Wait a second. Well, why don't you want to talk about that? I thought you believe in the scriptures. So why don't you want to talk about a topic that's in the scriptures? It just doesn't make any sense. Let me see. Bear with me a moment. Oh, LOP said, Left Behind. Yeah, that's a terrible movie. Which, hey, look, man, I saw the trailer for it. Which, to be honest with you, I mean, it didn't look like a bad movie. It really didn't look like a bad movie. I just never had the chance to get down, to watch it, or whatever. I haven't got the chance to watch it yet, but I have it, you know. So, yeah, I just bring that movie up as a reference because, that's one out of, many others where they show you, their belief regarding the rapture, that everybody's just going to disappear, and then the, tribulation begins, and then Christ comes back another time after. That's not true. That's nowhere in the scriptures. Let me see. Like I said, tried to finish the movie, but it was like one of the worst movies I ever tried to see. Oh, is it really that bad, man? Um, Damn. Well, as I said, man, I'm not here to rate the movie. I'm just saying, just for a point. Okay, that's what they're on there saying. Um, oh, as far as going into the whole, Joe Biden, situation right now. I was watching the other day. Um, no, I believe it was actually yesterday where he brought out the speech talking about the, this juice. I gotta, use code word, but this juice, okay, they're hey, look, you're gonna have to very soon, if you're employed, you're gonna have to get the juice, man. Okay, very soon. And hey, look, man, the clock is ticking. Okay, the time is running out right now. Okay, so these guys out here, man, who are just playing around with this knowledge, right? With this truth, war. You better take this thing seriously, man. Okay, because the Lord isn't playing games. What is that? If you go to what is that? Isaiah 55 and verse 6, it says, "What seek the Lord while he might be found. Call upon the Lord while he is near." And the Lord is near right now. Okay, the Lord is definitely near us right now. Oh, that's a spirit. I think I see a chariot in the distance over there. Hey, all praise to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Right, if that be a chariot. And that's another thing, man. These chariots, they are watching us, man. Which the chariots of God are these so-called UFOs, okay, which we call them IFOs, which stands for identifiable flying objects, right? So we know what these things are, man. Right? We know that these so-called UFOs are actually the chariots of God, and that the angels are inside of there. Okay, we know that. Okay, and that's why these things are being sighted all around the world, man. And hell, I've seen them. Okay, I've seen them. I can personally testify to it. Okay, that these things are watching us, man, and that's a great thing. So you got these Christians out here, talking about and this, I should mention this real quick because this also disproves mind of God. Because the scriptures say that in those times the deception is going to be so great that if it were possible, they would have even deceived the very elect. So wait a second. Well, how could the elect have even been possibly deceived if they were not even around on earth during that time of deception? Just another cut towards his doctrine. But the reason I bring that up is to make this statement that you got Christians out here, man, talking on YouTube, you know, saying, hey, look, these UFOs, those are Satan and his angels in there. And, got guys on there talking about, they're going to fake, an alien invasion with, this Project Blue Beam and whatever. They're going to trick people to think that aliens are coming down. Just a whole bunch of nonsense, man. Okay, but don't believe that. That's all a lie. That's not true. Okay, that's not true. When you see those UFOs appear, that's the Lord and his angels, man. Okay, coming back for, Christ's second coming. Okay, so that's going to be a a hard pill to swallow, man, because when everyone sees those UFOs, they're going to be going around talking about, that's aliens, right? They're coming here to, destroy the world, so we got to pick up arms and fight against them. Okay, so that's what they're deceiving the masses. Okay, everyone thinks they're woke, but they ain't. They're listening to the wrong information. Okay, so going back to I believe if you can look this up, but I believe it was George Bush, right, when he was at the UN. I believe one of their councils, he was giving a speech talking about if there's ever a outside, threat to the world from beyond, Earth, we would all have to team together as one to fight against them. And what is that? What was he talking about? He obviously was talking about a so-called alien invasion, right? Invaders from outside of the world, right? So they have a plan to deceive the world to team up together to fight against these things, right? Against these chariots, which are the chariots of God, these UFOs. Okay, so hey, look, man, the deception is going to be so great that if it were possible, even the elect would have been deceived. Okay, because I mean, hell, we all were brought up with that UFO doctrine, right? Whether you believe there was aliens or fallen angels, whatever one you subscribe to, they were both false. Okay, so we all came out of that, and I can speak from my own experience. You know what I'm saying? So, let me see real quick. Let me just catch up with what's going on. Fresh and News said the New York Post has a video of a chariot on their news channel. I might have to look into it. Fresh and News said, "Well, if it works for you, my experience was just a fluke, no medication or anything like that involved." I think they were talking about something along the lines of these pineal glands, right? Which that's off topic, right? So we won't get into that. But we're dealing with the scriptures, man. Okay, so going back to what I was saying, regarding the unlawful foods, right? You got guys out here, man, that say, "Oh no, you can eat whatever you want, or you can eat whatever you want." Mine of God's on there talking about, that yeah, it is wrong to eat food against the dietary law, but then he says that all the food is defiled, right? So basically, it's like, so you're basically in sin if you eat anything then. Which he didn't necessarily say those exact words, but that's pretty much what he was trying to imply. Is saying, wait, well, if you're eating defiled food, well, how can you tell other people they can't eat things? Well, here's the difference. The food I eat, I look at the ingredients on the back, and there's nothing in there that is on the menu of abominable foods. So yes, there are many ingredients in there that shouldn't be mingled together, of course, but none of that on there is from foods that you can't eat. And I'll give it a couple examples. I used to eat, beef jerky, but then someone pointed out, if you look on the back, it says it was made with pork. And I didn't know because I didn't look. Okay, so that's an example, right? So I don't eat that anymore because now I am aware. Or marshmallows. A lot of guys don't know that marshmallows have, what is it, gelatin, right? Which is made from pork, right? So I used to eat, marshmallows, but then they had to change, okay, because I didn't know. Okay, so if you didn't know, it would be pardoned from you. But then once you know, you got to stay away from it. Okay, and that goes for me, that goes for you, that goes for all of us, man. Okay, you got G-Man on there talking about you can eat a mouse sandwich. Hell are you talking about eating mouse sandwich? It tells you in what is that? Isaiah the 66th chapter, 17th verse, that those that hide behind trees, eating swine's flesh and the mouse, they will be consumed together when the Lord returns. So clearly, it's saying that when the Lord returns, those who eat those foods will be killed for doing so. So how the hell can you sit on there and say that it's okay to eat those foods? And that cuts the Christian church because I mean, hell, man, hey, look, you can't have a Catholic get together without somebody bringing the ham. You already know who that is, man. Which that's clearly off. That's clearly, off. You can't eat those according to the scriptures. Okay, and here's a good one. If we go to what is that? Second Maccabees, the 7th chapter. I believe it's you can also read the 6th chapter as well, dealing with Eleazar and the seven brethren. They all were put to death because they were commanded to eat pork. But guess what? They said, you know what, we're not going to do it. So wait a second. So you're telling me that back then there was men who were killed in brutal ways because they didn't want to dishonor the laws of God, which was what? Eating pork. Right. So they decided we're not going to eat this food, which all they had to do was eat the food, eat the pork, and they would be allowed to live. But guess what? They got killed because they decided not to eat the swine's flesh. Right. So it's okay to eat those things now, according to Christianity. It's ridiculous, man. Okay. So don't, believe in these doctrines, that's out here, man. Don't believe in what the Christian church is out here saying. Right? Don't believe those guys, man, saying that you can eat what you want. That's not in the scriptures. Okay, that's not in the scriptures. You can't eat what you want. Okay, and if you're doing that, man, well, that's oh man, you're completely in error. Okay, and you can read it yourself. What is that? What is it? Leviticus, the 11th chapter, right? The dietary law. There's a couple of foods I'll name off the top of the head that you can't eat. You can't eat rabbits. You can't eat tortoises. You can't eat catfish. You can't eat let's see. No, oh, you can't eat eels, right? You can't eat crawfish. You can't eat, you know, I mean, there's so many creatures on there, man. You could go for, an hour about them all. You can just read it yourself. Um, but the point's made clear, man. Okay, that you still have to follow those dietary laws. Now, of course, I'll say this: there was a point in time where I also, was eating ham as well. Okay, so I'm not, putting myself on a pedestal saying I never ate those things because I did. But you know what? Now that I know that we're not allowed to eat those things, you know what? Now I'm not going to do it. Okay. Now I'm going to stay away from those things to the best of my ability because, there might come a time where, they put one of those ingredients in the food you eat without you knowing. And if that happens, well, hey, look, that's not your fault. Then that won't be held against you because you didn't know that was in there. But then once you know, now you got to stay away from it. Okay. Let me just hit the comments. Bear with me a moment. Let's see where I left off real quick. Fresh and News said, I saw a video of a preacher bragging that he ate hot dogs because he was a Christian. He said Muslims are crazy for not eating it, which you can eat hot dogs as long as they're uh, turkey hot dogs. Okay, which I eat those too. I eat the turkey hot dogs. Okay, but yeah, you want to stay away from the pork hot dogs. Okay, stay away from those. Right, you just got to get the all beef hot dogs, right? The all turkey or all beef hot dogs. And I'll give an example. I eat the turkey bacon, right? You can eat turkey bacon, that's fine, right? Because it don't have anything to do with pork. Right. So turkey bacon's fine. Okay, you can eat turkey bacon, okay, as long as it's not pork. Okay. Let me see real quick. Let's see. Fresh and New said, or I mean Slovakia. LOP said, fresh and new. Kind of. I was like saying within myself what Jesus said, ask and it shall be given, knock and the door shall be open. At that time, this whole thing was intensifying. I see someone in the back chat. I'm going to let you on in a second here. I just want to get called up on the comments. You just hang tight for me a minute here, and then I will bring you on the show. Let me just read the comments real quick. Um, let's see. LP said, yes, agreed. Pork is repeated more than other meats in the Bible as an abomination, which is true. So, Fresh and New said, LOP. It's like, okay, that's interesting. It makes sense. We're asking, we're seeking him. Let's see. Said the preacher was bragging that he ate pork. He was saying it made him a Christian. Yeah, that's ridiculous, man. Hey, next time you see that coon, bring up to him, what is that? Isaiah 66 and verse 17. Those who eat the pork and the mouse will be consumed together at the coming of Christ. Read that to that coon the next time you see him and ask him how he feels about that. Let me see. Fasting and prayer, seeking God. And there were other factors, but yeah, LOP said, okay, let me see. Oh, it's actually the mind of God in the back chat. LOP, if you want to come on, man, there is a link up above. Mind of God, what's going on, man?
Yo, ETT.
Hey, I'm surviving, man. I'm surviving. What are you doing, man?
Dude, just came back from golf. just chilling. I was listening to it on the way back, but yeah, just relaxing. How are things?
Hey, I'm surviving. I'm surviving. That's what I'm doing, man.
Yeah. Well, that's good, man. Hopefully, the Most High will send His Son back soon. That's all we can hope for at this point.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, hell, things are just getting too bad out here, man. I mean, hell, I can't see how this place can go on for much longer, man. Because I mean, you look at these people, walking around out here, man, and you can see these people are through, man. Right? These people
Hmm.
are done. So yeah, man. I was just speaking a minute ago about the whole pork. Because let me just read a comment to you real quick.
Yeah.
One of our friends in the comments, which you might have heard me say, but I'll read it again. Fresh and New said, I saw a video of a preacher bragging that he ate pork hot dogs because he was a Christian, right? That he said that makes him a Christian. My God, how would you respond to that?
That's not surprising, because again, we know that the Christian people, the average one, doesn't even know about God's laws, much less honor them. So that's not surprising at all. So, I mean,
Yeah, and
you and I have been through that. And how many sermons have you and I heard about the law when I was a not quote non-denominational Christian? I did not hear one in, let's say, 21 years. So that just shows.
yeah, man. I mean, from our experience, of being in the church, where I was brought up, Catholic, Seventh Day Adventist, and all that. So, by listening to what they, teach in those churches, every time, it doesn't matter where you go, because I've been to many of them,
Hmm.
over the years, you
Yeah.
know, they always teach the same things every time. It's either talking about, the story of Christ, or it's a whole different topic that might cherry pick two verses out of the Bible to
Hmm.
add to, their life story that they're talking about, or something like that, or how, if you get closer to the Lord, you're gonna gain in financial gain. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So that's all they really talk about. You know what I'm saying? I've never, and let me say this, I've never been to a sermon who actually spoke about the law, right, and following the law,
Yeah.
or spoken about the last times. Those are things that they never talk about.
Right.
You're never gonna hear them mention that. Hey, did anybody know that Jesus is black? Did anybody know that?
Hmm.
Nobody's gonna say that. You know why? Because these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we
Yeah,
got
and dude,
someone
we
else in the
we
back chat.
we can't be in the last times unless the laws are alive, because the mark of the beast is a violation of the law. That's what makes it the mark of the beast. Do you agree with that?
Just say MOB because they, don't
Sorry,
like that
yeah,
word
the
on
mob,
here.
the mob.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool, man. Which actually, man, hey, look, I think I see a chariot out the window over there. Hey, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. And that's another thing because these chariot sightings, man, I talked about this a little while ago,
Yeah.
but these sightings are happening every day, man. And you watch what is it? UFO what is it? You know who I'm talking
UFO
about, that
Institute.
UFO
Yeah,
channel?
UFO
Yeah,
Institute.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
man. Those videos are good, man. So it just shows you that, every day that goes by, man, I mean, it's just evident that the Lord is visiting the world right now, right? So I
Yeah.
mean, look, it can't get more clear than what it is right now. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. Yeah. This year, next year, max. After that, I mean, it's kind of shady, suspicious to me. So yeah, it's not far. I think we would agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. I think, as I said, I think we are in an agreement on that. That, hey, look, man, at this point in time, I mean, which it is true that no man knows the day or the hour. That is true. However, I mean, just looking at what's going on right now, I mean, the book has to prove itself to be true within, I would say no longer than 3 years. I couldn't put anything
Yeah.
longer than that. I think 3 years is too much in and of itself. But
Hmm.
you know what? You know, we know according to the scriptures that God's time is longer than ours. But I mean, just going by everything that we see right now, I think saying anything more than 3 years out is a little much at this point. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
As Naz would say, we're in agreement. So yeah. Dude, I got to read an interaction with your boy Papa Tahar.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
So I was on his channel, and he's like, he made a video that ye be not partakers of our sins. He's taking some of my favorite verses now. Maybe he's listening. So Tahar, click that link, man, if you're listening. But I was like, the two witnesses in Revelation 11 are the two men in Acts 1:10-11, and he responds, "Go fly a kite." So why doesn't he respond when you're supposed to give an answer? Why do you think he's doing that?
I mean, that's a good question, man. I mean, he should have went into it with you. Did you follow up with a question to him when he
Yeah,
said
here's
that?
what I said. I said, why are you teaching they are angels in Acts 1:10-11 when the text says they are men? And then all he did was he put a bunch of other verses that said that angels can interact with man, which I don't disagree with. That's obviously true. And then I'm like, only the 144,000 should be teaching the Bible. Why are you teaching it? And then one of his people came in with horrible English, like you can't even understand, like literally like a robot wrote it. And then this is me just like kind of clowning him now. And then he left me alone. I'm like, the two witnesses are Moses and Elijah, who will be in America for 1,260 days exactly. I'm like, just curious. GMS teaches the Earth spins, right? And then all he responded, listen to this. He's an Elamite. That's all he said, dude.
Did he? Wait, did he have better English than me?
The other guy didn't. Tahar's was not that good either. But there's one guy who chimed in, the Spirit of Prophecy 144 forevermore. That's the longest name I've ever seen. But so they didn't respond to that. So it's kind of strange, like why do you think they don't want to talk about the flat earth?
I mean, this is as I said before, man. I tried to engage with the elder apostle Gabar, which of course, sincere respect to the elder apostles. But with that being said, I mean, if you guys do have the 100% truth like you say you do, well, why are you afraid to engage in a conversation? It's like if I ask him a question regarding, Romans the 13th chapter, I ask him, okay, well, you said to obey the laws of the land unless they go against the Bible. So here are 10 laws in the Bible that the law of the land goes against. So why are you guys not following this? And all they respond and say, well, you better stop causing contention on the comment board or I'm going to have to block you from the channel. It's
Right.
like, well, wait a second. If you guys did have the whole truth, which I do believe Great Millstone has truth, that's true, some sort of truth, absolutely. But if you had the 100% truth as you say you did, well, brother, why won't you engage with us when we ask you a question? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. If
Well,
you
let me
had the
tell
whole
you this,
truth,
ETT,
go
because
ahead.
I'm tough on you on all my videos, as you know. But let me say this: if I had to choose for somebody's spiritual advice, obviously we only take advice from the Most High and His Son. But if I had to choose between Tahar and End Times Teacher, guess who I would pick? I'm going with Biggie.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean,
They're
hell,
on a level,
UTT.
dude. These guys don't even know that the Earth is flat, man. So I don't know. And Deacon's hiding blunts from like his friends. So I don't trust the Deacon anymore. I thought he was smart, but he's just clowning himself now. So who's left? So
Yeah, hey, as I said, man, as I said, hey, it just there's too much that's going on right now, man. That's just the way you got to look at it. And it's true. I mean, it's true, man. It's
oh,
too
it's
much that's
crazy,
happening. Just
crazy
like,
what's going on.
just to like dealing with the news, right? Joe Biden was talking about, I believe it was
Yeah,
yesterday, about, making everyone get this juice. You know what I'm saying? So hey, look, man, as I said, we're gonna start to see, this thing get rolled out fast here, in the near future. It's just only a matter of time, right? So I would say it's a matter of days at this point, as mine of God would say, before, it's gonna be where you can't enter into the store without, showing proof that you got the juice.
yeah.
So we're in some serious times right now.
Yeah, and that's where LOP should join, man. Him and I we're trying to get that sort of microchip demon out of you today. We can do it tomorrow or whenever, but we're trying to understand, where you're coming from with that. Even Tahar on his video, I can't remember if it was this morning or yesterday. He said he doesn't know. It could be not. But he believes that it's the microchip. So I'm just wondering, why do you still think that it's that? What's the strongest argument for that at this point?
Well, I subscribe to that because if you read it right, and then if you look at the chip, you can clearly see it fits it. And then also you have what's going on right now. I don't know if you've seen it, but the Pentagon is coming out with this
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
for this whole thing, there's a chip that's coming out for us. So I would use that to say, oh, well, see, Well, the chip's clearly still there. So I mean, how could we say that in the near future they're going to introduce that? And then,
Mhm.
then would you change your position if they do introduce that in the near future that goes along with this thing? I mean, wouldn't that still be a valid argument for it?
Yeah, I would say you and I agree. You do agree that there's a group going to be beheaded, right, in the last days. We will label them differently, but you believe there's going to be a group persecuted to that level, right, according to the
Yes,
Bible.
yes.
Yeah, okay. So just something to think about. Again, just I'm sure you're aware of how evil what's going on now is, so I don't have to tell you that. But that actually only makes sense if it's a medical issue, because if it was a microchip and somebody didn't want to take it, well, then they would just be stuck at home. Then they're like, okay, well, then you can't come into a store. You just sit there, and then you maybe have to live off the land. They're not going to come and like attack you if you did that. But if it's a medical thing where you could be a quote carrier, and I think everybody knows what I'm talking about, then you can't just sit there and just be there because you could be a carrier. So you see what I'm getting at? The mark of the beast has to be medical in nature. It can't be a microchip or technology, because you could just unplug and then they wouldn't have a problem with you. They wouldn't persecute you. They would just leave you alone. You see what I mean? And then Revelation 16:2, there's swords associated with it. And that's what the Most High is going to use to push it out. He's going to be like, look, you guys don't believe this narrative now? Look at it. So, and I believe those are coming. I'm sure you would agree that they're not far away. So
All
that's,
right.
yeah.
Well, if you don't mind, I did have a question I did want to ask you because
Yeah.
somebody pointed this out to me the other day. There's a great verse in what is that, Matthew the 24th chapter. I believe it's the 22nd verse. I don't have it with me. But it
Hmm.
basically says, I'll quote it. It says, "For that there should be great tribulation, but for the elect's sake, those days they shall be short." Now, here's my question:
Hmm.
why now that it said great tribulation, right? It said that before they mentioned the elect, but it
Yeah.
said for the elect's sake, those days they will be shortened. So my question is, if the elect are not on the earth during the time of the great tribulation, well, why did it say that the days of the tribulation will be cut short? Not for who? It said for the elect. For the elect's sake, those days they will be shortened. So why would the days be shortened for the elect's sake if they're not on the earth during that time period?
No, they are. They're going to be on the earth during this time period. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating, drinking, marrying, giving into the marriage. So it's going to be a calm time. And so your point that when I was driving about the elect being deceived, that they've already been deceived, and now it's undone when they were sealed. So you believe the elect were sealed at the foundations of the world? Is that what you're teaching? You believe Revelation 7 was fulfilled at the foundations of the world? When did you start teaching that?
I would say I would say that the elect they were sealed. It was or the Lord already knew the end, but from the beginning, right? That's how we have the prophecies, right? So the Lord would already know who is destined to receive salvation and not, right? So I would say yes. Now, before we jump the gun and go into what you brought up, actually, I do want to address that.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to what I brought out, it didn't say tribulation. The text said great tribulation. There should be great tribulation in those times, but for the elect's sake, those days they shall be shortened. So before we jump away from that, could
Yeah.
you just
Which
tell me
verse are you
about that?
reading?
I believe it's the 22nd verse. You might want to read the verse above it as
Okay. Yeah, verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, never, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
well. Right. So wait, well, so how is it going to be shortened for the elect's sake if the elect are not even on earth during that time?
No, that's a good point. But you have to understand the Bible's encoded, man. Like, then you have to also understand verse 37, because Christ is returning during a calm time. So the calm time is not the great tribulation. Do you agree with that? Eating, drinking,
Um,
giving into marriage. That
I
can't be great
I
tribulation.
would
Then
no,
Christ is a
hold on.
liar.
I brother, hold on. Let me jump in there. I would have to say this, that there will always be a time of normalcy on the earth during the time of the plagues as well. And I will give an example. With everything going on in the world, even on which ironically enough, tomorrow is going to be the 20th anniversary of of 9/11, right? So I'll use that as an example, right? When that happened, you had people all over the world who didn't know what was going on. People were, marrying, right, given in marriage. But on this side of the world, people were, falling to death. They were getting killed in many terrible ways, right? So in certain parts of the world, people are still going to be engaging in all of those luxuries. So I would say that yes, all those things are certainly still going to be going down, here in Babylon. Say for an example, in the world wars, even though those wars were going on at certain parts of the world, the troops are there, fighting, and killing one another. But over here, in the States and wherever else, people were still, marrying, giving in marriage, and doing all those things, right? So I would say that most certainly those things will still be going on during the time of the Great Tribulation, going off those factors.
Yeah. You think everybody's going to think it's hunky dory during the Great Tribulation, which is the worst time ever in human history, according to Christ? Are you
Hold
serious?
on, hold on a second. Brett, hold on. It didn't say everybody was, though. It said people will be doing those, but it didn't say everybody will be. Just like, let me give an example. Do you think the billionaires are still going to be enjoying their life while
Hello,
everybody else is suffering from
excuse me.
economic trouble? Just so I know, could you tell me that? Do you think the billionaires will still be enjoying their life when everything else in the world is basically in SHTF? Will they still be enjoying their
No, they will
lives?
not. No, how can they? They're the ones that they make money off of all the people doing certain things. So no, it's not going to be safe.
Wait, so wait a second. So if they have $1 billion in their bank account, you're telling me they can't enjoy their life off that?
What's money going to do when there's a famine? Do you understand what Revelation 16 is talking about? The sores, it's on people who've taken the mark and who worship the image. Do you think that they don't think that, like, how many people do you think that is? And do you not understand that's going to be on them too? You think they're not going to get those sores? Why? Because they're a Rothschild? It's for them. What are you talking about, man?
Well, hold on. But those people are not taking the juice, though. Did you know
Exactly.
they're
That's
not
why you have to read
majority.
Revelation 16 too. It's them who take it and who worship the image of the beast. So it's on God's entire left hand side. You got to read the Bible, man. What are you doing all these live streams for, dude? Your teaching is getting crazy right now. Read Revelation 16 too. Let me read it. You don't think that they're going to have a problem with all these noisome sores on their body? You think they're just going to be what? Just chilling? It says
Well, I
noisome and
never said.
grievous sores.
Hold on. I never said that they weren't going to catch any type of misfortune. But all I did was say that when these things happen, you will still have commerce going on. You still will have life as normal, just like with everything going on right now over the last 18 months. Life is still going on. I mean, hell, there's a father, right now next to me here with his child. They're taking the walk, riding together on a bike, right? So
We're
people are
talking
still
about
living
Great
their lives.
Tribulation, man.
Oh, hold on,
You're defining Great Tribulation, which is correct, as the worst time, and I'm reading the things that are happening during that worst time, and then you're sidestepping my point. Great Tribulation, as defined in Matthew 24, is the worst time that's ever happened, and we know where to look for that. That's in Revelation 16. Do you agree? Because that's when the whole earth is going to be tested.
I do
Okay.
agree. Yes.
Okay, good. So the first one is the sores. Okay, and the next one, the God is then going to attack the food supply. So what do they have a magic skin button where they can just make themselves heal? No, God's like systematically attacking everybody. Okay, and he's targeting the left-hand side because that's why he starts with the sores. And so then they're going to be pissed at all the people who didn't take the mark, which we know what it is. You don't seem to know what it is for some reason, but so no, they're not going to be living well during the whole point of that time is that their gold and silver doesn't matter anymore, according to all the verses in the Bible. Because how can you buy your way out of these things? The sores and then the blood and the water and then the animals and the water and then the power outage. How can you buy your way out of that? Money doesn't
Well,
matter at that point.
to give an example, of that, just like how we had, this whole hurricane that just came through a few days ago. Many people were let into a let's say they were put stranded, for lack of better words, right? They were stranded, no electricity, no money to do anything. But you had other people who were a higher class who could have generators, so they could have power when everyone did not. Say for an example, right, when the Great Depression came, right, back in the 1930s, millions upon millions of people were having a terrible time. But however, at the same time, there was people who were having a great time, right? So I would say that when you read the text, as it says, what in the times of Noah, right? What was going on in the times of Noah? Do you agree
It's right
that there
now.
was? Oh, hold on. Do you agree that there was, you know, much wickedness like what we see today that was going on back then?
I would assume, you know,
Right.
not probably not
Okay.
as much because now it has to be cleaned with fire. But yeah, I would assume.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. I agree with that. I do agree with that.
But dude, you got to read.
But what I'm
Listen. To
saying,
this. Here's my point. Here's my point. You got to understand. This is why Revelation 16 is very important, and I know that why Tahar and you guys don't really go into this. But listen to Revelation 16:10. This is further down, and the fifth angel. This is the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast. You and I would probably agree that's America. And his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain. Wait a minute. They just put them in dark. What is this? Well, because they're still dealing with those sores. And who is this? This is not the God's right hand side. The Rothschilds don't have a button to avoid this. This is for those people, all the politicians and all that kind of stuff. So this is the fifth angel, and they're gnawing their tongues in pain. So this is not, they're not going to buy their way out of this. Okay. So no, they're not going to be enjoying this time, man. That's the whole point. This is the wrath of God
okay.
to test the entire earth. Do you understand that?
Okay. Real
Okay.
quick. I have to ask this though. There's going to be two-pronged questions, but before I ask, I have to just make sure you agree. So do you, just so I know, you do agree America will be destroyed at the end of the Great Tribulation. Do you agree with that?
That's what I teach. I'm not sure if you teach that.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Now here's the question. This is why I brought it up.
Yeah.
When Babylon's taken out, it's speaking about people were doing commerce with Babylon. People were selling with Babylon, becoming rich. So how are they doing that if it's not a relatively calm time when this event takes place? Which you
No.
agreed
Yeah.
at this, but you agreed this happens at the end of the Great Tribulation. So how are they engaging in commerce, right? Which means what? That people are buying and selling
Mm-hmm.
between these nations. How are they doing this if they're in such a time of great calamity and you know, if things are not normal, so to speak? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's actually very consistent with the narrative going on right now. And I just watched an interview with like the FedEx and UPS and all their CEOs. They're like, oh, you know, we've been shipping the masks and all the PPE and all that. So guess what they're going to be buying? Okay, to like deal with this stuff, dude. Of course, they're going to need food because then God's attacking the food supply. So they're still going to need food to survive. He's not. Remember, all of these have to happen. So God's keeping it slightly livable, but He's obviously attacking their body. You know, with obviously like the sores and then the food, because then there's going to be a famine in Revelation 18:8 is consistent with this, and then it's going to be the sun. He's actually going to make a heat wave, and guess what? After the heat wave, He's going to shut the power down. So people are like got all these sores. There's a power outage. There's a heat wave. They're gonna be like, oh my god, this is. But that doesn't mean their money's not gonna like be able to be useful to like still stay alive, because again, they have to make it through all these until it gets burned. So God's like
Hey, real quick.
He's slowly doing it. But of course, they're still going to be buying, no doubt. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be eating and drinking. You think people are going to go to a wedding ceremony with all these sores on their body? Hey, yeah, snap a picture of me and my husband, me and my wife, and all that kind of stuff. What are you talking about, dude? They're going to know that this is God coming after them.
Real quick, let me just say this. Mine of God, if you want tomorrow, I think I might be available to have that third debate if you want to do it.
Well, man, we've been waiting for it, dude.
Oh
We
wait, are
need to
you?
do it.
I do have to say this though. I'm gonna have to do it in the in like the afternoon, like the early afternoon. Are you gonna be available at that time?
That might be tougher. Can you do morning?
Let's see. What time do you mean in the morning? Like,
Really, any time in the morning. I'll just probably play golf in the afternoon.
um, we'll see.
Yeah, just send me a message. We can do it like impromptu. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine, man. We can figure something out,
But we're pretty
But
much
yeah,
doing it
man.
here. We're pretty much doing it here. But
Well,
the
I was
point,
gonna
yeah,
I was gonna say I wanted to step into a different topic. I was gonna save that to continue that conversation when we have the third debate, because that's one good topic to touch on. So I was gonna step away and let LOP talk. So I wanted to say we can go further into that when we
yeah,
have our debate, which probably, Lord willing, tomorrow or the next day. We'll work that out. But yeah, let me just hit some comments real quick, and then we will you know then we'll continue it. Let's see. Fresh and News said, biblical tribulation is pretty intense. I don't know if people will be able to ignore it. LOP said, the hailstones falling, the weight would be like 400 kilograms. That is insane. LOP, are you on here with us, man? You want to join the
Ye-
conversation?
I don't know if you can hear me though. Can you?
Yeah, we heard.
We can,
Yes.
Yeah.
man. What's
Oh,
up?
okay. Yeah. Sorry. Because I thought, yeah, I thought you didn't hear me. That's why I didn't try to join.
LOP, let me read that verse you're quoting, Revelation, and I'll give it back to you. Revelation 16:21. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed God. Listen to this, because of the plague of hail, for the plague thereof was. So now they're finally realizing it was God at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah, I think I did like convert it, and it's adds up to about 400 kilograms, if I'm not mistaken, or 450, which is I have metric system here in Europe, so I don't know if what is it in what do you guys use, pounds or whatever for
Yeah, here.
weight? So it would
Yeah.
be like I don't know 300 pound or something, I think. But it's just the point is it's very huge hailstone.
Yeah, on Wikipedia or on Google, it says about 100 pounds. That's
Yeah,
how
which
heavy each one is.
yeah, I we don't have imperial system. We have metric system. So
Right,
I don't know about the pounds, and you don't know about kilograms.
right. But that's, I mean, they're huge. Like he's just ready to
Exactly,
kill the place. Yeah,
exactly.
burn the place. Sorry, I meant.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
insane.
LOP. Now we got you on here. We were talking about a little earlier in the show before Mind of God came on. And you were basically, I don't want to misquote it, so I'm going to let you elaborate, your statement. But you were basically telling me something along the lines of at one point in time, not today, but at one point in time, you considered yourself to be immortal. Can you just give us like a background on all that, if you might?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I did feel I was immortal, but as I also said, it only lasted about 1 month or like 40 days, and it only happened at one place on Earth in New Zealand. So uh, there's not much I can say to explain because I don't know the explanation. As I say, I'm not God. I cannot tell you why it happened or how it happened and why God took it away, the immortality feeling and the heaven feeling. But it did happen, and all the circumstances that led to it is I was traveling to far country. Obviously, New Zealand is very far, and at the time I was seeking God, praying, fasting, and all, uh, and many factors to counter into this experience that I experienced. But there's not much to say because I cannot explain it myself. Like if I was able to explain it myself, then I would be seeking it again to feel that heaven again. But I do not. I suffer, and more so every year actually. So it was actually, as you said, oh, you're so lucky, Lob, because you experienced this. Yeah, well, not so much because after that I got schizophrenia, which is one of the worst mental illnesses, and so maybe it was both blessing and a curse because it was amazing. It was the best feeling I ever felt, but also after that came the worst feelings I ever had in the following years up till now. So that's what I would say about that.
Right. All right. All right. But just so I know, like how would you, Mind of God, you want to throw anything on this? Because
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know if you heard about this.
yeah, I would just be weary with the what you mean when you say you're immortal. I guess your soul, your energy, we know lives on. Without a doubt, according to the Bible. So um, I would just say we all are technically immortal in that sense. But I don't know what you mean when you said that because I think ETT had
Well,
a
I
problem with that.
yeah, I don't know why he has a problem with that, and also I feel like even my body is immortal, not just my soul. Like I was unbreakable. But I don't know how to explain it. Okay, because now I feel pain, but at that time I felt zero, absolutely zero, no pain,
Yeah.
and I cannot explain it, man. It's like asking me, because I'm not God. So maybe.
Well, I would just say no, not to take away from your experience. I would say a better word for when you don't feel those pain receptors, which some people actually have a medical condition where they don't feel pain. I saw a documentary on a little girl who she has to wear like a helmet and like eye goggles because she'll scratch her face and because she doesn't have those pain receptors. So I would say you felt invincible you know,
Yes, yes,
in your
that's
body.
actually the word that the doctors use when they confined me. They
Yeah,
said
because our
I
bodies
was
are not.
invincible,
Yeah,
and
our bodies are not immortal.
at
Because
that time I was only 18, and I didn't know, I guess, the proper term
yeah,
for
that's
what.
fine.
Yeah. So
That's
because
fine.
English is not my native, but I was already speaking on a good level at that point, but not at a perfect level yet.
It's just ETT gets picky with words, you know, and if he's in a bad mood, then he'll jump on you. So I'm just here to kind of keep
But
But
everything calm.
but like
hold on,
even
real quick,
so, all right.
real quick. As I said, I was just asking because I wasn't, I wasn't sure what he was saying.
No,
Okay,
I agreed
you
with
know
you.
what I'm
I
saying.
didn't like that terminology
So
either because that didn't make sense. So
right now, again, I'm not at all saying that the brother didn't experience anything, spiritual. I'm not at all saying that. I believe he did. But as I said, I'd be picky with the words I use. But again, well, I'll leave it at that. That's cool. I just wanted to inquire, if for you to tell us a little more about that. But anyway, going on to, because you made a mention the other day, you left a comment on my page and brought up, I believe, what is that? First Thessalonians, I want to say the fourth chapter, I believe it was. You brought up the
5-9.
verse that speaks about. Yeah, yeah. LOP, you want to go into that a few minutes and why you brought that up, if you may?
I just brought it up. It's an interesting verse because well, when I was young, I didn't understand it because, like, he's saying, "What we which are alive," and Paul is, he wouldn't be alive at the end time, right? So it had to be at his time, and which means that he would be taken, to heaven without dying, actually. So it's interesting for sure, and I've been wondering about this verse for many years. But it says, yes, the dead in Christ shall rise first. Yeah, that's but probably those that died before, but were had faith, and and God would raise them, at the last day, right? So yeah, it's interesting.
You want me to read it, ETT, so the audience understands what we're
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. First Thessalonians 4. I'll start with 13. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. Verse 14. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so, them also which sleep in Jesus will God bring with him. Verse 15. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive, and we notice how he says we. So this proves reincarnation that LOP is talking about, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort one another with these words.
So do you think that Paul will be incarnated in the last days
Yeah,
then?
he's here. He would be walking around on Earth somewhere. He's not
Wow.
Tahar. He's not Tahar, that's for sure.
So
So
maybe you are Paul. I'm just.
I mean, I think like that's the thing that's amazing to even think about, that all those souls are somewhere on Earth, and that's where we could be walking around angels, not just elect angels, which is him, Paul, but like everywhere on Earth. They could be in a homeless person, they could be wherever. So that's amazing, and that's true. If the Bible's true, that Paul, Ezra, I believe Ezra and Daniel are the same, but they'll be here somewhere in
That's
the book of Daniel.
awesome.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
there's some.
the scriptures speak about, some have entertained angels unaware, right? Some, sometimes, you might have a situation that comes up in life, where you just tried, but it might actually be an angel there instead of a person. Say if you give money to somebody on the street, as far as we know, that could have been an angel there
Right,
just to
right.
test if you're actually going to help them or not. Nobody
And
knows.
ETT, that story you gave about where you felt quote unquote ripped off? What if you were entertaining an angel and he just needed a good deal? Did you think of that?
I mean, that could
Don't
be.
feel
I mean,
bad.
hell, that actually could be true, man.
Yeah,
Hell, that could be true.
don't feel bad. So you know what I'm saying? Uh,
I just wanted to say that I actually felt some similarities with, my name is Joseph, with the Joseph from the Old Testament, right? Because
mhm.
there's like a verse where he went to prison. I don't remember exactly. This is in Genesis, obviously, but he was like in prison, and after 3 weeks, he was taken out, and he shaved his face, whatever, and he went before the Pharaoh, right? But
Yeah.
a similar thing happened to me. I mean, not similar, but like I was in a mental world where I didn't shave for 3 weeks, and I didn't even like notice this until I you know some similarities anyway, because then they brought me to another world which was less confined, so to speak,
Mm.
and then I shaved my face too, and but I didn't really do it because of anything. I just did it because they gave me razor to shave, because I let it grow for a while there, because they didn't allow, there was a, because they thought I'm suicidal, which so that's why they confiscated, yeah, like
Right. Right.
razors, right?
Right.
So then, but it's interesting, I think it says something that Joseph shaved his face after he got out of prison. I don't know if it was 3 weeks, but anyway, just a funny story,
That
real
that's
little.
no, but that's actually why I believe Daniel and Ezra are the same, because the language that they use in their books are very similar, and so they would write similarly. They obviously don't know that they're the other person, and John the Baptist didn't even know that he was Elijah, and so, but he's gonna act like Elijah in First Kings. You're gonna see the same character. It's just in a different body, and so yeah, you'll know let's just say you end up being that person. You would mimic their behavior also, not just go through the same things, for sure. So like ETT's Biggie Smalls, like the rapper. So like he's good at freestyling and rapping and stuff.
And he also sounds like him a bit,
Yeah,
like his
exactly,
voice.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
eat similarly, because Biggie, like that guy ate moon pies every hour on the hour kind of thing. So that there's a lot of similarities. When ETT says that, I'm like, I don't know how to disagree with that. It's true. So
And
Hey,
yeah,
real quick.
I felt like some
Let
similarities. Yeah, too.
Let's see. Damn, I had a point I wanted to bring up, and now I can't. Now I can't remember. But LOP, let me ask a question, man. Do you follow the laws, or are you of the belief that we don't have to? And I ask because I'm not sure what your belief on that subject is.
If you mean the dietary laws, or the
I
some
I
of.
mean the laws of the scriptures. I know there's 613, but of course, you
Yeah,
can't keep all of
I
them.
cannot.
Go
I
ahead.
don't even. Yeah, I mean, I know there is a lot of them. The in Leviticus mostly. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's hard to even memorize all of them, but like most of them
yeah.
are like sexual, like in sexual nature. Like you can have sex with your aunt, or with your incest is also against, and all this kind of stuff, bestiality, right?
Mm-hmm.
The man shall not lie with man as he lieth with womankind, Leviticus 19, I believe.
LOP, just say yes, because a lot of them don't apply, and we don't even they don't. Yeah. So is there
Yeah,
any?
so
I think a better question is. I think a better question is.
yeah, I believe those laws are still like should be followed, also, but I think like the mixing with the linen, and
Yeah, exactly.
what's
How do
that
we
word?
follow that?
How do I
Exactly.
follow that? Because you would have to wear, you know we don't, that's hard in these times, so
Do
you
you
know
do
what I
that,
mean.
ETT? That linen thing?
It's like
Well, on certain
mixing
clothes,
cloths.
we try to follow to the best of our ability. However, of course, it is true that certain things, just like that one, it can't fully be followed today. Say, for an example, if you work at a job where they require you to work with a shirt that has the company's logo, the shirt is made of one thing, but the logo on the shirt is made of another, right? So, as we said, certain laws in the scriptures you can't follow completely today. However, to the best of your ability, you are to follow the commandments. That's why it says, what is that? 1 Corinthians 6:12, for all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient, right? So there's certain things that you can't go around doing today. And I'll give an example. According to the scriptures, if a man finds his wife in adultery, which means what? If she's laying with another man, according to the law, that's a sin unto death. But you can't go around, and you can't. If someone was to find their wife doing that, they can't kill them because they'd be thrown under the jail for doing that today. But that law of the Bible says that, right? But we can't go around doing that because we're in this man's kingdom, as Elder Apostle Paul would say, right?
This fool man
So,
system.
right, this man fool system, right?
Man
So there's
fool.
certain laws in the scriptures that it says what it says, but you can't, fully enact them, in today's time, just because of what's going on right now, right? So that's of course true. Um, So yeah,
But
you know, as I
ETT,
Can
said,
dude.
I
go
ask
ahead.
No, no, no.
something?
One LOP.
Sorry.
1 second, dude. Your zealousness for the law is great, and I like when I listen to you and others. But I don't know. This is the part where it's like a contradiction. You're a walking contradiction. Let me say that, because you're the one, and I would say the Hebrews in general brought the law back into style. You know, I say that respectfully. Now the question is, the mob is out and violating the law, and then now you guys go shirk back into your corner. Like, help me understand that. Help. LOP is always asking me how does that work with ETT and the Hebrews, and help us understand that. Why now, when the law is being violated according to Leviticus 19:28 worldwide, now you guys are like, I don't know. How does that work? You're against
Hold
pork.
on a second.
You're against pork, which is in some of these, okay? And then it obviously it violates the flesh being pierced, and you never trust your enemies. And there's lots of ways that we could go and say we're not
Okay.
supposed to. We're not. 1 second, last point. We're not supposed to bear false witness. We're bearing false witness to an evil narrative, right? Whether you believe the mass or this. So help me understand that.
Well, I would say this is what's a straw man, because it's not necessarily you're basically lumping all the laws into one. It's not like individual ones. Now I'm going to ask you this to answer the question, right? The scriptures say that if a man lays with man, they're supposed to be killed. Now let's say this: if your neighbor is engaging in that action, the law says that you are to kill that person. Are you going to go through with that? Or are you going to do that? The answer is no, because you know what the law says. It says that thou must, thou shall means you must do this, right? But you're not going to do it. Why? Because if you do that today, you know that, hey, that's going to get you put to death for
No,
doing that
that's a
here in
straw
America.
man. That's a straw man, because that's not the reason why I wouldn't do it, because I've committed that sin myself, so I can't do it.
Wait,
Yet
hold on a
let
second.
me finish my
So
point. Let me
you,
finish my point. Let me finish my point. Yeah, I cannot go and kill somebody who's committed adultery because I've done that. So yeah, no, that's the
hold on a
reason why.
No,
second.
he was talking about the
Hold
homosexuality,
on.
I think, huh?
No,
Hold on a second. Hold on.
I
Hey,
thought he said
real quick,
somebody's
real quick.
cheating on somebody or something like that.
Oh, real quick. I just want to make this clear, because
Yeah.
I didn't want to run to false conclusions. In that sense, I was clearly saying Leviticus 20 and 13. So I didn't want to put this on you,
Mhm.
because you said that you were guilty of it. So I didn't want to put that on. Maybe you misunderstood.
Yeah.
I was talking about homosexuality. So you're not saying
Oh,
you
sorry,
did
sorry. I
that
thought you
stuff,
meant
right?
adultery. My bad. No, no, no,
Okay,
definitely not.
okay, good.
No,
I
sir.
just wanted to
But
clear. I
actually,
just
no,
wanted to
no.
clarify.
Let me talk about the homosexuality thing. I have admitted on a video that I've watched lesbian pornography. So have you. And so, have I done that
So
act
did
or
I.
done that physically? No, never in my life. But if I watch that even once, then I'm not doing the act, but I'm supporting that industry. Okay. So, and so have you, and you admitted this on a video, and I give you credit for being upfront for that. So, am I a homosexual? No, but I've supported a homosexual business lifestyle. Okay. And so have you. And so, no, I'm not allowed to go and do that. And then what I thought you were talking about was adultery. And then, yes, I've committed that too. Not in the physical. As far as I know, the women that I've dealt with have not been married. Some can lie. I don't know that. But so I can't do that either. So what's next? Okay, let's go down the list.
Wait, hold on. When you deal with certain laws, right, in the scriptures, if you steal something, you would not be killed for doing that. But if you commit something like adultery, right, or bestiality, those are sins unto death, right? So we understand that there's certain sins that are more punishable than others,
No, no,
right?
no,
So
no, no,
certain
no. I was
sins.
just no, no, no,
Brother,
no, no. Wait,
I'm
you're
not.
going. You made a straw man, and I knocked down that one. So I'm just saying, let's go to the next one, because you were saying I wouldn't do it because I would go to jail, but I was telling you no. I gave you the real reason why I couldn't do it. So now we have to go down the list. Then give me another example then of why I'm not able to do whatever sin you're talking about. And we're going to go down the list, and you're going to find that you've committed all of them too. That's why we're not allowed to do it. Not because of Esau's fool man system. It's because of our conscience. Okay. You have to understand that, man. You're learning the Bible from an evil person, and then you're getting on YouTube and teaching it. And it offends us who believe that we're of the elect, because we have to hear it. So let's go down the list then. Tell me another thing then that I would do, not because of the judgment from Esau, but just because of what the law says. And if you'll see that when you go down all of them, because once you offend one, you're guilty of all of them, only God can administer the judgment in the last days. And that's what he's going to do. Okay. And with the two
Okay.
witnesses, not you. Okay. Wake up.
Okay. Can I ask you a question real quick? If you, let's say for an example, if there's a video online of somebody committing a robbery, can I then say that you are also with that robbery? Since you watched the video, you agree that action was good? And
No,
that's
but
a
if you
real
could have
question.
prevented
Just
it,
I
no,
just
if you
want
could have
hold on.
prevented it from happening, let's say it was a surveillance thing and I'm like watching it, something like that. And yeah, I could go and prevent it. It's the same thing with the lesbian thing. We could not watch it and starve that whole industry, but because all of us have just admitted that we've chose to do that, we've supported, even if it's like a drop in the ocean, which God sees everything, like you were talking about when I was driving up here, then we've supported it. Our hands are not clean of that. Or do you agree with that?
I'll say this that
No, you can't
if
say that because you're
oh
not.
hold bro,
You're
let
only
me let
allowed to
me
be a hypocrite. You're only allowed to be a hypocrite. We know that now,
hold on.
dude.
Okay, let me respond. I thank you very much. Watching somebody else commit a sin is not the same as you committing the sin. Now let me reiterate my statement so we can understand. I hear what you're saying, but if you watch somebody else commit the sin, that doesn't mean that you did it. And I give the example. I said, if somebody commits a robbery, right, and it's recorded, I'm not saying it's happening live. I'm saying it's pre-recorded from, let's say, 2 years ago, right? So you watched a video of two people committing a robbery on a so-called innocent person. So can I then say, oh, well, wait a second. If he's watching this video of a robbery take place, means, see, well, he
Yeah, and
has to be
if you
supporting
took
this action.
pleasure in it, if you took pleasure in evil, because we're using the analogy to lesbian pornography, for example, and you're finding pleasure in that. Yeah, if you took pleasure in somebody getting robbed who's innocent, yeah, you are evil. I mean, is that? Did you just
Wait,
figure that out today?
can I
This
ask
is
you
new. What? No,
something?
LOP. 1 second. Did you just figure that
Okay.
out now? ETT? Are you kidding me?
All I'm
You have
gonna
to tell me, you have to ask me that question to figure that out now. That if you're finding pleasure in somebody evil, for example, let's say even Christ hanging on a cross, if you found that pleasurable, does that not make you evil, an innocent person being punished? Okay, if you watch a robbery and you're laughing, oh my god, look at that old lady getting robbed or whatever, and you find that pleasurable, yeah, that's evil.
okay,
Okay,
let me just say this real quick. Let me just say this. Let me give an example, right? Because I used to be on what's that website? You had a best scored, then you also had a hood site, right? But anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is there was a video on there from was from the I want to say Saudi Arabia, and basically what it was about is there was a woman who committed adultery. So guess what happened? The woman got put to death in the streets for committing the act of adultery. So I watched the video, right? And people were on there saying, "Oh, hey, look, well, she did this. She committed adultery, slept with another man's wife." I mean, hey, look, that's the law. They're gonna, hey, if you do that, then you get killed if you're caught doing that. So is that wicked then to watch that and agree that that's the right judgment, even though the holy text says that that's what is
it's not
supposed
one
to
to
be to
one.
happen?
You're talking about you went from two unrighteous acts and now you went to a righteous one.
It's
So
a different example. It's
yeah,
different.
okay. So we agree to the two unrighteous ones. If you take pleasure in them, they're evil. We agree with that. The lesbian thing, and then the innocent, let's say, grandmother getting robbed. Okay. No, we're not supposed to take
Yes,
pleasure
yes.
in evil. Okay. I hope you didn't figure that out now on September 10th, 2021, being the BIG of the skip G's. Okay. Hopefully you didn't figure that out today. So now you went to a righteous one. No, if we see a righteous judgment, let's say a serial killer being put to death, that's a righteous judgment. We're like, good, get that soul out of here. Okay. No, what's unrighteous about that? You should have got him after the first one. Okay. So no, what do you mean? Like, how is that the same thing? So no. Um,
Okay.
so that's my point. Okay. This is why your mind and Tahar and everybody's mind's been blocked to what's going to happen in the last days, because those plagues that are happening in Revelation 16 can only be done at the hands of pure hands, because then it honors God's laws. Because you and I cannot go and put our quote hands on Biden or anybody on this earth. Why? Because we're guilty of all those sins ourselves. If you're being taught by somebody who understands the word of God, which clearly you have not been. So that's why Moses and Elijah are the two witnesses. And that's why Christ has to come and kill, because they're enemies to him. We're guilty of all those. We're just asking for an exemption, which is salvation. We still deserve all those things. Okay. It's not Esau and the white man and all that nonsense that you dummies talk about. Okay. Tahar is just as guilty because he's a liar. He thinks that he's on a spinning ball earth. And then he's talking about all this other stuff. But the Bible says all liars are going to be put in the lake of fire. So why don't you go after him for being a liar, and then you go after people like Flat Earth Boxer? Help us understand that. Why are you doing that? Who's telling you to do that?
I'm not I'm not sure the question you're trying to ask me on that. So I'll give you a second to reiterate it for me
Well,
and try to do
you
it.
agree
Go
lying
ahead.
is against was one of the laws to not bear false witness, for example, testimony of what God made. Okay. So Tahar is saying that he lives on he's teaching others that he lives on a spinning ball earth. Okay, that's a lie. Do you agree with that? We know that now. And he
Yes,
knows
yes,
that.
I do.
Good. And
Okay,
he knows
hold on.
that too.
I do agree, but let me just real quick. Let me just say. Let me give an example. If somebody teaches that Christ is a white man, but they were never exposed to the knowledge that he's actually black, are they still teaching a lie? Yes, they are still teaching a lie, but they are unaware that they're teaching a lie,
That's a straw man because that
right?
doesn't
So
apply to
are they
Tahar
still?
because he knows because it's been shown that he's subscribed to Russian vids. He knows the Earth is flat, stationary. Man, are you kidding me? You're the one who even told me in a message thing that you've seen their video defending it and it was funny. Okay, like which I've seen it too and it was funny. So no, he knows. Okay,
And
so
again,
now
hold on. I know, and you
he
already
knows that
know
it's
this.
flat,
So
dude.
I already answered this a few times. You asked me this before. I do agree that they should be, speaking about this. So I don't know why, you're trying to make it look like I said that what they're doing is right. Because I said before they should be speaking about that. So I do agree with you in that sense, and I've always said that. Anyway, LOP, you've been quiet a while, so we'll let you jump in here.
Oh yeah, sorry, I kind of forgot what I was going to ask about 5 minutes ago. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask like you talked about the okay, so like for example the you know how Christians say that like the even like masturbation is a sin. What do you think about that? Like because of they bring up the example of Onan, right? Because he was killed for, but he didn't even do that he had sex, and then he just didn't impregnate her. So that is not that cannot be made case against the uh
Don't listen to what Christians say, LOP. They're
I
stupid, man.
I know,
Okay.
no, no. I
Okay,
want to,
real quick.
what's your I just want to know what is yours and ETT's point position on like is it wrong to watch you know and masturbate and stuff
Yeah,
Okay,
or
let me
yeah,
jump.
of
Let me
course.
do it first. Let me respond first. Let me respond first. What you said is the way I would answer it, right? He was put to death. Why? Not because he engaged in that activity, but because what he was set out to do was to impregnate the woman. So what he did is he didn't go through with that. So that was the reason why he was put to death. It didn't have anything to do with that sexual act. Okay, so guys who use that to so-called prove, well, they're just clearly ignorant to what it's talking about. So that's how I would respond to that. I'll let mine guy go ahead and
I mean, first of all,
jump.
LOP, are you serious? First of all, are you serious? Like referencing the Christian church? Don't ask a question. Like just the way we are. They're stupid. Okay. If you want to ask us just our opinion, that's just word it that way. But don't. Who cares what the Christians say? There's
yeah, I
all
wanted
of
to
them are
just
stupid.
ask
Yeah,
you actually
that's
I was
fair. And
yeah
yes, of course, if you're watching, like I said, if you're pleasuring yourself to an evil thing, and whether it be any kind of evil, whether it be lesbian pornography or whatever it is, yeah, because you're supporting an evil business. Now, is God understanding? I would say this he is because he's aware because God made this entire hell. It wasn't my idea and it wasn't your idea. We grew up in a system where we were taught the spinning ball earth, which is the first major lie, and then there's many others. So, does that mean that we get forgiveness? And just God's like, does it matter? No, but God's aware. This is where mercy comes in because he's aware. Do we all have the wives that we should have so we don't have to go and do those kind of things? No, because once we say one of the truths that we say, the girls will be like, get the hell away from me. And that's what we want. Good, go away. Okay. So this does not mean that we just go and do whatever we want because we have this amount of grace. That's not what I'm saying, but just know the God of the Bible is aware of all those kind of things. So the less you can do, or eliminate it completely, certainly in the times that we live in now, you're going to be able to get more and more revelation from God.
yeah I
Okay.
would agree with that. Yeah, thanks for your answer. And I have another one, but that's a small one only. Like there's a like I don't want to mention Christians again because I know what you said, but they always say like, oh, I have long hair, and that's like a sin because it's not. There's no commandment, thou shalt not have a long hair if you're a man. There's no commandment like that. So this is nonsense. What do you think? I mean, I know you guys have pretty long, short hair, but like I have pretty long hair, and I just don't see anywhere in the Bible where that's a sin. It's not, isn't it?
Mm, I wouldn't have long hair. I mean, I can't grow long hair, but
I mean,
But it's
I
not a
mean, from
sin. I
my
mean,
from
that's
my
nonsense.
hold on, let me just jump in real quick. From my understanding, there is a verse that says, I don't know it off the top of the head, but it does say that it is a shame to a man to have long hair, long flowing hair like a woman.
yeah,
That
First
is in the
Corinthians
scripture.
11:14. Yeah, he's right. Yeah.
You want to quote
Well,
that? Now, let me say this, brother. As I said, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a sin. It says it's a shame. It doesn't say it's a sin. Just like I'll give an example. Samson, right? He had long hair, right? It wasn't a sin for him to do that, right? But it might not be the best look to have. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say you're in sin for doing it, but it's definitely not, the proper way a man, should be. But
That's
hey,
not the way
look,
the
as I said,
Israelites. That's not the way the Israelites would.
right.
They wouldn't do that. Yeah. So
well, they have the what do you call Nazarite law, right? That where you have to grow your hair actually and beard. So, but then they would also shave it. I don't understand the whole thing, but there was some like Samson, for example, yeah, and other ones as well. Paul even did that, I think. But then he shaved it like after
it's the same.
some
I would
time.
say it's the same thing with an earring. And not to be rude, because you're still learning, and I'm still learning too. But some men wear earrings because it looks cool. And Michael Jordan made it popular. We're not. No, hell no. Okay, definitely not. We're
I
not
don't
supposed to
do
do.
that at all,
No, no.
and
I'm just
yeah.
giving you an analogy. Like things that are associated with women, men are not supposed to do that, and women are just stupid. So we're not supposed to be stupid.
Okay, but this is my point. Like I have both long hair and long beard. Like how is that feminine in any way?
Well, dude, don't necessarily come to us because our opinion is just an opinion. Ask God. But all we could tell you is the people of the Bible, which has been
But
what.
actually,
Let me finish my point. When you actually read the Bible, you start realizing it actually exudes a certain masculinity because the Israelites were very masculine, and then they were leaders, and then they're warriors. A lot of them were fighting and all that kind of stuff, and so God would then empower them. And so, just so you know, obviously, we just read First Corinthians 11, and so if you want to be like that, then you're gonna have to start doing those and even the beard thing. I find a beard annoying because I shave it a lot too. It hurts my face and all that kind of stuff. But the way they would have a beard.
well,
So
okay, yeah. Well, I'm just I am comfortable more with long hair, so that's my and with long beard also. It's actually less itchy when it's long than when it's short. So that's how I do it. That's why I do it. I mean, yeah.
yeah,
But anyway, this is like a small thing. It's not nothing
yeah.
to
You
do
just
with.
I was trying to
Yeah.
put ETT on
Sorry.
a hot seat, and then you gave him a break, which is fine. ETT
I'm
needed a
sorry.
break. Okay, I just was pointing out inconsistencies of his application of the law. No worries. We can go apply the law to our neighbor and then all this and that. But then you got to apply it to your elders. That was my point. And then if you do, you'll find out they're not the elders. Okay. So that's my thing. And then I'm just circling back to our differences. I'm just letting ETT know because now I consider him a YouTube friend. We call ourselves frenemies. That's a perfect phrase. But here's what I have to tell you as a frenemy, and this is what you tell me indirectly when we dialogue, is that if you take a position, let's say I took a position that the mark of the beast, because Teachers of Truth left a comment and it reminded me, is paper money or something that let's just say I started tomorrow morning, T-Mog wakes up, starts teaching, oh, mark of the beast is Christianity or Islam or something like that. Then you have to warn me and say, well, wait a minute, you could potentially be altering the prophecies. Okay. And then leading people astray and deceiving them and all that kind of stuff. So when I'm just warning you as a quote frenemy that if you're teaching that it's a microchip and it's something that's sooner, then you have to understand you're going to be responsible for that, right? According to Revelation 22, are you aware of that, ETT? Because you're adding a prophecy to the book that does not exist.
Yes, I do agree.
Okay, good. And the same thing for me. This is the flip. Just to be fair, because listen to this. If I teach that the two witnesses are coming in the future, but they're already here, according to the two nations or the breakdown that possibly ETT subscribes to, I don't put words in his mouth, then guess what I'm doing? I'm taking away a prophecy. I'm saying, no, it's in the future, just like ETT is doing potentially with the microchip, so that I'm liable for judgment. The same thing, because no, it's already happened. And then I'm adding something saying, oh, no, wait for these two guys to come in America, yada, yada, 1260 days. So if that doesn't come true, then I'm also liable to Revelation 22. Let me read it, 18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book, if any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto the plagues that are written in this book. And so that's why we come to you as a more on the friend side than enemy side. Are you sure that it's that? There's no 50-50, man. What the hell are you talking about? 50-50, it is or it isn't. Are you sure that it's the microchip?
Oh, you're asking me that question
Yeah,
here?
yeah. Are you sure?
Well, going by, what we see, in the, the scriptures, I would have to, if you're gonna put me on the spot like that and tell me to decide, for 100%,
Yeah,
then I would have to go with the chip. But as I said, I did say that, we're gonna have to watch what happens because, it is possible that, could be this, this thing going on now, but we're gonna have to see in time to come. Okay, but if you're gonna ask me now, then I'm gonna have to tell you that it's the chip. But with that being said, I have to tell everyone to be diligent and watch what's going on the world stage, at this point in time. But that answers your question.
yeah. And then if the two witnesses, for example, do end up being to be fulfilled in the future, okay, then you've taken away a prophecy. Okay. So then there's judgment for that as well. And so this applies to me as well. Because if I'm wrong about the microchip and then it ends up being the microchip, then I've taken away. I said it's this, but no, it's something in the future.
I mean,
Okay.
hell, let me say this.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, if Babylon turns out being the Vatican City, then me and Mina God are in the same boat. Then we're,
Dude,
we're both
that's
going to
why I
be.
talk to you, because this is why I consider you a virtual friend. This part, because let's say the Bible's not true, or let's say Mystery Babylon's wrong, then really all of my breakdowns are wrong. And I think you would probably say a lot of your breakdowns are wrong. All of
Yeah,
mine are
yeah,
wrong. Yeah, so then we're both wrong, and then we've gone through a lot of the same deception. So that's where I would say if the Bible's not true, then ETT and T-Mog moved to friends, virtual friends, because we both were deceived. I think we both know that that's not true. The Bible's true. We're just trying to figure out what's what at this point.
right.
So
Yeah,
that's the deal. So I'm just letting you know. And again, all I can do, I can't prove these things to you that two men are going to be in America. I mean, I can't prove that to anybody. Tahar is like, go fly a kite. Okay. So like, that's what he wants me to do. Revelation 22:19. If any man shall take away from the words of this book, of this prophecy. So if the two men are in the future, then end times teacher's taking away, because he's saying that it's two nations that are happening right now. God shall take away, listen, as part of his, out of the book of life and out of the holy city. So fair warning to especially all the people that come by my channel and you run your stupid fingers, don't know what the hell you're talking about. Even if no one sees it, you're prophesying when you put your opinion of the Bible in the times that we live in now, because the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy, because we know the whole Bible's prophecy. So I just warn people, just make sure you know what you're saying. God's not going to be like, oh, no worries. Oh, no worries. You taught the mark of the beast was paper money. Not a problem. No worries. Okay. Does the God sound cool with this anywhere? No, he does not. So this is just, man, ETT, I wish you luck. That's all I got to say, man. Because I mean, I don't know what to say, man. It could not be more
I mean,
obvious,
hell, man.
but hey.
I mean, at this point, man, all we can really do is hope the tide tips in our favor. At this point, man.
Yeah, dude, I just don't want that to tip you over. You know what I'm saying? Metaphorically. So, man,
Hey,
I
look,
think, yeah.
just like what's that guy? Rick Harrison, right from Pawn Stores, right? He'll be there like, hey, look, I'll give you $5, and I'm taking a huge risk, right? So, hey, look, ETT, Mind of God, LOP, hey, look, we're all taking a huge risk with what we subscribe to as far as doctrine wise, right? We're all taking a huge risk with this thing of ours.
Yeah, I would say mine's less about the thing, because it breaks God's laws. So if I'm wrong, then I would say the Bible's not true. So on that one, yeah, the two witnesses, it's risky because no one else teaches it. Yeah, I'm aware of that, and then it's outlandish for people to think that. However, I did watch my first movie that I watched in months. and I'm going to do a video on it tonight, maybe tomorrow, called "This Is the End," and they had some predictive programming as well related to the two witnesses. So,
Oh, have you watched that movie? It's a great movie.
yeah, I
Love it.
just finished it today, and it actually
It's
goes through the
awesome.
sequence of the end times. So, but
Yeah, that I would like to like see your reaction. Yeah, thanks, man.
But LOP, do you understand what I'm getting at? You probably think, T-Mog's in a bad mood and then Intense Teacher and all these people are mean and all that. We're not trying to be that way. We're defending our position. Okay.
No, yeah,
And
I
so,
get that.
yeah,
I
I
get
think I
that.
think it would
But
behoove End Times Teacher to take our position on what the mark of the thing is. But
yeah,
he's free to make his own choices or whatever. So
but I wanted to say just like what about so many people have always predicted like this day Jesus will return. They are also false prophet, and they,
agreed.
what is in so and people are always doing like how many people have done it, like millions probably throughout the years, and so that's why I never wanna like make a prophecy like that, even
The only people that
even
can
if
are
I
the
was.
elect. The only people that can are that group in Revelation 7. And this is why Tahar is correct when he said, it's not for other nations, man. And so he's right. It's only for that group. And they're Israelites, and they will not have long hair. So you should cut your hair tonight, man. Don't do that.
Hey, real quick,
I will not cut my
real,
hair. But
I gotta ask real quick, my God, if Christ doesn't return this year, within the next couple of months,
4 months.
then are you gonna change it to next year then?
No, I told you how much I have in my bank account. I think I have like 16 grand and then 2.5K of Bitcoin. So my
Damn.
ministry,
Hey, look, man.
what's up?
Hey, look, my God is considered to be a rich man compared to ETT.
Yeah, but dude, ETT, man, we're rich in knowledge. How about that? We don't know 100%, but we know a lot,
Oh, that
right?
is true. That is true.
So, we're doing okay. That's just the fact that we know America's Mystery Babylon puts us in the top 2%, maybe. And we're not saying this to boast, but look at what ITR is teaching now. Okay, like I mean, they're finished. So this is the part I do agree with Tahar when I watch some of his videos. He's like, all these people are just teaching nonsense now. Like why? When it's so obvious, but. No, I can't change my tune because my tune will not be heard. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm getting at. I'm
Hey,
only
real
gonna,
quick, my
yeah,
God, if you go on to Har's page, right? If you watch
yeah,
the video where it's the one he uploaded a few days ago. It has the cargo ship on it. I don't know if you saw that yet,
yeah.
but he basically mentions in there because I asked him a question regarding the so-called rapture, and he talked about that a few minutes. You might want to go ahead and listen to that real quick
That it
when you
could be
get the
soon.
time. I'm not going to say what he said because I don't remember it. But if you watch it, he did speak about it for a few minutes.
Dude, I thought you memorized everything Tahara says. Dude, like you could recite it
Well,
from years back.
I mean, hell, right now, man, I'm watching a 4.5 hour, video that they did where they break down Genesis, what is it, chapter 2 to verse 20. So I got to go finish that tonight.
Yeah, I would say, like I've said, if Christ doesn't return while I'm in the body, which will only be at most 6 months, like the next 2 months is just 1 month next year, will be me just like kind of just figuring out. I think what's gonna go on, but I'll be like off YouTube, and just let's say I'll be in the woods. How about that? Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I can't change my tune because I'm not going to be on YouTube. And then yeah, I mean, I would not make all my teaching wrong because obviously some of it makes sense, but yeah, it would invalidate it because I'm not involved. Why would I be quote sealed and then just let them hang around, if you know what I mean. So no, then yeah, no. There's at this
Okay.
point, this now is a financial thing where I know in the past I've said I'm going to take a break. I've retired, and a lot of that was just like I was just bored, honestly. But then this narrative came out and I got reinvigorated. I was like, whoa, there's too much to talk about. So I came back, so to speak. But now it's financial, and I'm not complaining. Like I mentally prepared for this to not be on Earth much longer for years. It's not a new thing. Don't for people out there. I think a lot of people have thought about this. I've been thinking about this for many years. So I knew I wasn't going to live a long life at a young age. I knew that. So no,
Right.
I won't. No, I will not be changing.
But anyway, so you agree then, just so I know, because I don't
Yeah.
want to put the words in your mouth.
Yeah.
But do you agree that if January 1st, right, 2022 rolls around and we don't see Christ return,
Yeah.
then will you then admit that you were wrong with that teaching?
I would say it could still be right. It's just I'm not involved. But I would say,
Okay.
yeah, it becomes more questionable because I'm the only one that's brought it out. So what I recommended in a video recently is people consider it just like I consider what you say and consider what Tahar says, but don't, don't assume that it's true. Just think about it as an option. Maybe, hey, I have a question about this verse, and then okay, let's see maybe what Mind of God said. But yeah, don't. Yeah, I would say start from scratch. So yeah, I would not
And hey, I
recommend.
will, I will,
Yeah,
I will respect that. I will respect that. Standing by, your words. That's very, respectable. Because these other guys on there, like, I'll give an example, man.
yeah,
You had this one woman on there actually, which that's going off because a woman isn't supposed to teach, the
right.
scriptures.
Because
But
they have long hair.
she calls herself, what is it? A still small voice. Some of you might have heard of her,
Yeah,
but she's been on there for years talking about, oh, Christ is going to return this time. Then if it doesn't happen, then next year, then the next year, then the next year. And I know because I've known about her for a good 9 years now,
yeah.
or 8 years. But it just shows you, man. But hey, I'll respect mine of God's because he said a whole stand behind that. So I
Well,
will respect
ETT,
that.
let me word it this
Go
way.
ahead.
Let me word it this way. If I cross over, however that happens, it's obviously not going to be public. Rest in peace, Ronnie. He wanted to make it public. That's his choice. And so, whenever I do that, I would say I'm not of the elect because I don't actually subscribe to your teaching where some of the elect will be, dead in Christ first. I believe the elect, all of them, 144,000, will be on the earth in a body. And so I would then say, let's say in my last breath, that, yeah, I'm not of the elect. I can say that for sure because I don't believe the elect will die. So does that mean all my teaching's wrong and like, oh, stupid? No, I think you could still learn from it. But I would have to then say and confess, admit, with what I'm doing, that I'm not of the elect. Does that mean I'm not in the kingdom? Well, my soul goes back to God, as we know. And then it's his decision whether I'm on his right hand side or not, and I'm allowed in the kingdom. And so as Deacon would say, all praises. It's up to
Right.
him. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
right.
So anyway, yeah, man, that's respectable. Anyway, I am gonna end the show now, in just a minute or two,
Yeah.
because we had just passed the 2 hour mark, and I only have like I want to say 2.5 hours left, for this month, which is the next like 10 days or so, next 13 days. But anyway, mind of God, maybe we can go live on your page tomorrow sometime. I'll reach out to you and see if you're around.
Yep.
Just make sure you check your what is it, the Google Hangouts. Make sure you check that to respond to my messages on there when you see them.
Yeah. Let's do it. Thanks, man. Enjoyed it.
All right. Yeah,
Peace.
All
sounds
right,
good, man.
man. Okay, bye, guys.
Well, LOP. Yeah, LOP. Thanks for stopping
Uh,
by, man.
yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me, man. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. See you later, man. Bye. Bye.
I'll see you later, man. So let's see. So anyway, that was the show for tonight, folks. We just wanted to, come on and discuss, certain things. It was very entertaining, may I say. And anyway, I hope that was, educational, for topics we handled. If anybody would like to come onto the show in the future and dialogue with us, hit me up at my Gmail. Go to my channel, go to the About section. You can find my Gmail. Send me a message, and we'll bring you on the next show, and we can, discuss whatever topic you like. But yeah, if anybody made it this far into the video and you're watching after, let's see, go ahead and put hashtag. You know what? Put hashtag LOP in the comment section down below. We'll give that brother a shout out. If anybody made it this far into the video after the stream, put hashtag LOP in the comment section down below just to see if anybody made this far into the show. So yeah, that's gonna be tonight's show. We're gonna wrap it up with that. I hope that was edifying. And I of course want to end off the show by giving all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, for this truth. And with that being said, we're gonna say shalom.